Have you ever thought about going to the zoo for the day and finding an exotic animal that you really wanted to see?
Could you imagine a world without a certain species that you really wouldn't like to see in the zoo?
Have you ever thought about what the animal was thinking while being in a cage? Do you think he wants to stay there for the rest of his life? Would you like it if you were in a cage for the rest of your life?
What if the animals that exist now become extinct within 20 years or so? Could you imagine a world without polar bears? What if tigers or elephants become extinct? Many zoos have considered saving endangered species by having them in their zoos.
But wouldn't the endangered species become anxious and distressed? Since they are not used to an environment such as the zoo, wouldn't it decrease their lifespan? Zoos claim that they are helping wild animals, but because of the small confined spaces and cages, many do not survive in captivity.
Shouldn't we help preserve the endangered species in zoos? That is so we can educate people on how that species is so important to the world. Wouldn't you want your children to see a tiger or a polar bear?
Even though zoos provide food, water, and shelter, wild animals can easily get the insufficient amount of feedings and get sick really quickly. The incorrect feedings can result in starvation and disease. Also, the small, tight cages cause anxiety.
Well, the zoos have many results, including a local veterinarian, so if the animals get sick, they can be treated. Vets also can reduce the anxiety by using anti-anxiety drugs such as
Bak powder, multi-milk, and cholesterol liquid.
Zoos are positive in many healthy ways.
Positive by keeping animals away from their natural environment and violating their rights to freedom. All animals have the right to live in peace and be with their own species. Many zoo animals are taken out of their natural environment and have to become part of the human world. They do not have the choice but to stay in captivity for years to come. Don't they have a right just as we do?
Zoos also have researchers and scientists who observe their behavior.
Psychological or genetically based.
They know what to do if an animal gets sick. Veterinarians know how to treat wild animals with
interacting
with their own species. Animals in zoos are put into social groups. The natural habitat setting also helps them adapt.
Taking away their natural habitat deprives them of space. For example, giraffes have long legs and are meant to run a long distance. How can they run if they are in a zoo? The lack of space deprives them from being who they are. Giraffes can run up to 35 miles per hour on short distances and 10 miles per hour on long distances. A giraffe in captivity stays in the cage that is 36 feet wide and 8 feet long. In the wild, the giraffe can run all throughout their habitat. Humans are taking away their freedom and identity. Now they are dependent on humans.
The benefit of zoos is that humans can study and learn more about wild animals to help them, not to hurt them. Being educated on a species of animals and helping endangered animals is a good thing for zoos.
The zoo's treatment of animals is sometimes unfair. The Animal Welfare Act is not always followed in zoos. This act is about how to treat animals in a fair way and to make sure they are safe and not abused. The act can be violated in many ways without an inspector inspecting the facility that the animals are in. It is a law requirement that every facility who owns exotic animals or domesticated animals should be followed.
Zoos treat their animals very well, like taking in abandoned animals. Animals that were abandoned now have food, water, shelter, and doctors. For example, a baby elephant had been abandoned and a zoo had taken it in. The zoo employees took it to the vet to get a medical examination and cure the wounds. Then the elephants stayed overnight and within the help of the zoos become healthy again. The elephant was given food, shelter, and care. The abandoned elephant felt safe in the zoo.
Another topic of discussion of how zoos are a negative thing is how breeding wild animals is taking place in the actual zoo. This is very dangerous because the animal is not in their natural habitat, so there can be birthing complications. Complications for wild animals can be really dangerous in a zoo and near human visitors. The animal can react in unsafe ways for humans to be around, and we really don't know what they're capable of. It is very difficult to house male elephants for the problem to house males. Males are much more dangerous than females. This has led to special expensive arrangements as separate barn and enclosures for the male. Formerly, bulls had often grown up in circuses with restricted female contact and was sold or given to the zoo after they would exhibit uncontrollable behavior. They also expose to medical problems. They may suffer from foot and nail problems or may have restricted contact with the groups and the females since they are impossible to control in interaction with the rest of the group. In many cases, the females are too old to get pregnant and may often have unstable and disturbed cycles, since female elephants are not bred before age of 25, often get more burned out and develop cancer in the genital area. They are often unused to meet bulls and lack of social training in sexual courtship.
The good thing is about breeding animals in zoos is the fact that we are saving endangered species by breeding more of the species in zoos. We can save endangered species from becoming extinct. Many people can benefit by learning more about wild animals and about zoos. We can learn more about helping their natural habitat and helping provide that so they can live longer lives.
Wild animals are important to the world because they are part of the environment, and helping animals will keep the environment healthy.
There is so much to do to help the environment and animals. We can all help provide the environment by reducing fuel and recycling. Together we can have a healthier and happier planet with the animals that live with us. The animals on the planet need to live and breathe as much as we do.
In conclusion, I believe that zoos are a negative thing and animals should be wild and free. They all belong in their environment. And by having a zoo, humans take advantage of how wild animals live by giving them a new environment to live in. Taking them into captivity is wrong, and by helping these animals, they need to live in their original environment instead of a zoo.
I believe that zoos are a positive thing because we can benefit by learning about wild animals, endangered species. Plus, we can save the endangered animals that suffer from poaching and harm for their environment. We can provide and save these animals by putting them in a zoo away from harm. Breeding endangered animals can also help because preventing the species from becoming extinct will help our world environment. Our generation and the next generation need to learn more about wild and endangered animals so we can make this planet a healthier place to live.